our final Friday Night Football doubleheader of the season brings us to BC Place in Vancouver. Two teams attempting to end disappointing seasons on a high note. The visiting Elks playing their third game in 7 days, trying to finish above 500 on the road. The Lions looking to snap a 7-game losing streak and wrap up fourth place in the West. One last chance to be a winner tonight.
23-year-old Nathan Rourke gets his second start, but his first with the keys to the car. He did start in game 1 versus Saskatchewan. Michael Riley had an elbow issue, but Riley played the second half. This is Rourke's game. Could we be looking at a sneak peek into the future at the position? Taylor Cornelius got his first win of the season on Tuesday in Toronto. You gotta believe, Dustin, for the Elks to win tonight, they have to get off to a good start. 3 games in 7 days.
Jamie Elizondo, his first win as head coach of the Elks was right here at BC Place. His team is actually 3-3 on the road so far this season. Tough first year on the other side for Rick Campbell. His team has lost 7 in a row and are just 1-5 at home. The BC Lions found themselves in the mix midway through the season, but have not been able to find the win column for a couple of months now. They will look to end the season on a high note here tonight. Hugh O'Neill will kick it off, and we are underway in Vancouver. Thank you very much for joining us. This will come down to Henderson. Quandre Henderson brings it back up to the 30, stays on his feet, and is able to push it up towards the 35-yard line before he is taken down. A huge opportunity here for Nathan Rourke, and you have to think he's probably ready for it, having been around here.
Well, he's had the whole season sitting in the quarterback room with Michael Riley, so you know he's learned a lot there. He started that first game in Saskatchewan, showed great poise, made a couple of mistakes in that game, but bounced back from those mistakes, which is a very good sign. Second-round draft pick in 2020, 15th overall, and Nathan Rourke's family is here watching tonight.
Mother Robin, Father Larry in attendance, seeing what their boy can do. He's going to start by turning around and handing the ball off to James Butler, and Butler will push ahead for a pickup of about 6. Let's take a look at this BC Lions offense, brought to you by Expedia.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Philip Norman playing at left tackle. Also Kent Perkins, didn't highlight him, but he's their nominee for outstanding offensive lineman. We'll watch a little bit of those tackles tonight. Whitehead was the MOP nominee for BC. Brian Burnham leads the team in receiving.
Kent Perkins' birthday today, actually, turning 27 years old, so happy birthday to him. Rourke's going to dump it off, back to Butler again, finds that marker for a first down, and a steady dose of James Butler here to start the game for BC. Here's a look at this Edmonton defense.
Thomas Costigan got 2 sacks versus Toronto on Tuesday, back in the lineup, first game in a while for him. And you take a look at that linebacking core. Derek Moncrief gets the nod for outstanding defensive player nominee in just 7 games with the Elks. And in the secondary, Trumaine Washington added to his totals in Edmonton. 2 interceptions on Tuesday.
5 on the season. The team only has 8. Back to Butler again, and this is a great pickup. That'll be a first down and 11 yards for Butler, and an offense that hasn't been able to run the ball very well this season.
No, but James Butler has looked pretty good in the last few games. I mean, they've found somebody that's running with great strength, power, and speed at the point of attack, and I think they've got a keeper in James Butler.
Butler had 127 total yards of offense, including 7 catches last week for the BC Lions, and he will stand in there to the left of his quarterback, Nathan Rourke. 3 touches early in the game for Butler. Some pressure coming here from the Elks. Rourke, though, finds the time and decides to dump it off into the hands of Cotoy, and he will push it ahead, and BC offense gets another 11 yards.
Ohio University, 39 starts for Nathan Rourke, 70 touchdowns passing, 49 touchdowns rushing, a tremendous college resume. Maybe a sneak peek into the future.
Very well could be something we'll certainly discuss throughout the evening. They'll hand it off to Butler. He's going to be wrapped up and eventually taken down. Chris Nelson got over there after it was Kwaku Boateng who held him up there when he first got the ball.
First second and long situation in this game for Rourke. See how he handles that. That was most impressive to me in that first start in the first half against Saskatchewan. Hostile territory at Mosaic, and the spotlight was on him, but it wasn't, the stage wasn't too big for him.
Couple touchdowns, couple interceptions, almost 200 yards passing in that first start. 2nd and 11 is what he faces right here. Rourke, pressure coming up the middle, he's in trouble, dumps it off, and was able to throw it away. Butler will go over and grab it, but some pressure right up the middle there eventually came. Costigan, the area all over Rourke on that one, so this drive will stall just past midfield.
Got a chance here to see the pressure coming. They put Bieri in there. He faked like he was going to drop and then flipped his shoulders around and hit the A-gap.
The Elks scrambling here a little bit as the BC Lions set up for a very long field goal attempt.
Pay attention. Timeout.
Can't do that.
Edmonton.
And Edmonton had to use a timeout early here, as they must not have been expecting BC to set things up for Nick Vogel to take a crack at a field goal. He's 5 for 5 so far since joining BC. He was 3 of 3 last week. His long on the season in a short stint is 39 yards. So this will be a big test here early, Glenn.
Yeah, and this is the type that is returnable. Boy, the special teams units has been a bit of an adventure for the Elks this year.
And now they are going to fake it with a little
Pooch
kick on the far side. That will bounce and be picked up by the BC Lions. They got it. There is a flag sitting over just inside the 35. Looked like pretty good execution from the home side.
Yeah, and it may be interference, but we'll take a look at and see the penalty. As long as Katoy is onside behind the kicking team, behind the where the ball is kicked from, he's eligible to recover it. And why not? In a game that doesn't matter in the standings, does matter to every single player out there. Their future in professional football, as they continue to try and make a good impression to leave with their coaching staffs at the end of this season. We'll see what this penalty is.
There's no flag on the play as the BC player was onside. It's first down.
Let's get another look at it. No flag on the play.
Yeah, they're gonna throw that flag just in case. There's Katoy getting up there. As long as he's behind where the ball was kicked, he is onside and can go and recover it. So that ball is kicked from the 51. He is clearly behind that line and goes down and recovers it after being hit on the way. Played by BC, new set of downs.
Nice job by Flintoff, who is actually their nominee for Special Teams Player of the Year. Leads the league in punting average. Here's Rourke. Fakes the handoff. Now has the man wide open down at the 15 as Burnham goes down to his knees to get it.
Yeah, Brian Burnham catches that curl, real confident throw. I always wait for this throw for young quarterbacks. The throw that you throw into traffic. You see lots of linebackers, DBs, and you got to put it right in the window. And that's exactly where Rourke put it.
Oregon got over there to wrap him up. Couldn't get there in time to knock that thing down. 16-yard pickup for Burnham. And Rourke continues to march inside the red zone here. Rourke's going to run with it. Moncrief is on him and is able to trip him up and take him down as he creeps towards the 10. A 4-yard pickup for Rourke.
Let's go back to Javon Katoy and this onside kick attempt. They line up for the long field goal, and then it's a pooch kick just past the line of scrimmage, about 10 yards. Katoy tracks it down before Aaron Grimes can get there. Those are not only fun to execute, they're fun to practice all week.
How much time would you spend practicing?
Well,
a little bit here and there?
Yeah, about 20 minutes of practice, but it's a ton of fun. The guys love it. Katoy makes it work.
2nd and 6 here for Rourke. A ton of time. Finally finds a man wide open. Touchdown, BC Lions. He goes to Brian Burnham, his 5th of the season.
How about that composure? Rourke family loves that one. Watch the young man, 23 years old, stand there in the pocket now. He's working it, eyes downfield, doesn't take off and run and panic, waits, finds Brian Burnham on the backside and puts the ball right on him for the first score.
Rourke all all smiles. BC Lions, a little bit of trickery along the way, but overall a very impressive first drive.
Yeah, great first drive. He's got a little bit of the run game going early to James Butler. A couple of nice throws from Nathan Rourke. His first drive, again, different type of start than that first one against Saskatchewan. Finishes with a touchdown to Burnham.
The extra point is good. A 10-play, 77-yard drive and an excellent start for the BC Lions. And Nathan Rourke, Brian Burnham, his target in the end zone, and the home side on top early. What a start here at BC Place. Brian Burnham, who needs 104 yards coming into this game to hit 1,000 on the season. Nice connection with Rourke here early, Glenn.
Yeah, a couple of catches on that drive for Brian Burnham. Leads the team in receiving yards, as you mentioned. Lucky Whitehead did get the MOP nod. A little surprised at that, to be honest.
Bruce Anderson takes it on the return all the way back up to the 35, pushing ahead down just inside the 40. Let's take another look at that Rourke strike to Burnham.
Yeah, watch Burnham find the hole. He's gonna run the curl here, but what I want to show you is his ability to know exactly where he needs to be in the zone defense. See, watch, he checks this way, but he's actually going to find the hole on the other side of the linebacker. That's understanding the coverage you're in and then finding that hole in between the linebacker and the secondary, opening up yourself as a target for your quarterback, and Rourke found it.
BC's offense gets the job done. Edmonton now with the ball. Cornelius flushed out of the pocket to his right and has to throw that away. So some pressure coming there from Guatrum and the BC Lions.
Oh, he got his first win, and you know this is start number 8 for Taylor Cornelius, as I mentioned. But you really need that validation. You're putting the work in every week. We saw some real good things. Ironically, his numbers in the game on Tuesday were his worst numbers as a starter, but he got the win, his first win.
Usually, the recipe for success is in 3 interceptions. But he ran in a touchdown, and he finally got that first win. And we'll see if he can build off it here. Cornelius again has time, got it away just in time, and that one is up and over the head of the intended target, Ernest Edwards. There is a flag, though, in the secondary down by the BC 40.
Pass interference, BC number 26, automatic first down.
Austin Joyner was the DB in coverage on that crossing route. There's Ernest Edwards. He's gonna go inside and run this dig route. Oh, the jam and just impeded him to get to that spot. Good call by the official and pass interference. Joyner didn't argue one bit.
Takes that ball up to midfield. Now they're actually going to walk it back and place it at the 49-yard line.
That's a 10-yard penalty
for Edmonton.
Ball spot at 49, first down.
Call it illegal contact, not PI. Although he did become the target.
Just a few moments later, yes.
Yeah.
Trips to the right here for Cornelius. First and 10 on his own 49. Steps up, made one-man miss. Now looks to the far side of the field, and that's picked off. Down at the 50, Marcus Sales. Sales will bring it back to the 40, spins and stays on his feet. Sales eventually forced to the middle. Now he's going to pitch it back, and that'll be complete. There's a flag on the play as he gets it to TJ Lee. Lee staying on his feet, pushing towards down to the 6. But there is a flag back at the 50, pretty much where Sales dumped that off to Lee. Flag was thrown at the same time, and we'll have to get this sorted out.
They often throw the flag just to make sure. We'll take a look.
After the interception, illegal block, BC number 20. That's a 10-yard penalty, first down BC.
Tough starts for Taylor Cornelius. First possession of the game intercepted by Marcus Sales, his second pick of the year. BC's got the ball back.
Marcus Sales on the pick. It's going to be an out route, and the timing from Taylor Cornelius is off. Watch as this route is run on the out. Marcus Sales, now stop it there. The ball's got to be out right now and to the outside. And if it is, it's a completion for a first down. But they wait, they wait, they wait. The ball coming out from Cornelius way too late on that throw. And Marcus Sales says, thank you very much, going the other way.
Nathan Rourke gets the ball back on his own 54. He's 4 of 5 for 42 yards and a touchdown to start this game. He'll hand it off to Butler, looking for an opening. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Probably give him a yard, and that'll bring up 2nd and 9 for Rourke and the Lions offense.
So Michael Riley will not be dressed for this one. There he is on the sideline, helping young Nathan Rourke out. Kevin Thompson is going to be the backup quarterback tonight out of Sacramento State. But Riley led the league in passing yards coming into the week. Not the MOP nominee, which I was a little surprised with, not to take anything away from the explosive excitement that Lucky Whitehead, who's at the bottom of your screen, brings in any given play. But Brian Burnham was the leading receiver and the leading on this team and the leading passer in the Canadian Football League this year, Michael Riley, and with a great touchdown interception ratio as well. Just 6 picks on the season. And yeah, the team obviously has gone through some struggles with 7 straight losses, but the leading passer in the league and not the MOP none. A little surprising.
18-game pace, almost 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good season. Even in his last start, he was 30 of 37 for 340 yards and a touchdown. He's 171 yards ahead of Zach Collaros, so Collaros will need 172 against Calgary tomorrow to take over the passing lead. Down the field, wide open is Rhymes, and Rhymes will stay on his feet. Finally taken down at the 5 as Rourke strikes again, and the BC Lions offense unstoppable in the early going.
Send some extra pressure here. Edmonton's coming from the outside. You're going to see another one that's just out of your screen, and they want to put pressure on Nathan Rourke, see if he can handle it. He sees the pressure coming, knows he's got to have a deep guy. One blitz breaker open. It's Rhymes, 48-yarder right down the seam.
That's a big chunk for Rourke, and here he is in the red zone again. Finds Whitehead. Whitehead on his feet, stumbling towards the end zone, and it's in. Touchdown, BC. Lucky Whitehead, his 5th receiving touchdown of the season, and the big boys came to play for the Lions tonight.
Good start for 12.
Great start.
Got some pressure. He faced zone and executed to Brian Burnham on a touchdown. He got some pressure, hit the blitz beater to Dominic Rhymes to set up that Whitehead touchdown. Got it out of his hands quickly on the hit screen to give Lucky Whitehead lots of time to make a move and get to the end zone.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
Got to make sure he crossed the plane before his knee touched, but
he was darn close. It almost looked like he came down sort of shoulder first, but they're going to take another look at it. If you would have said to Rourke, hey, what's your ideal start? With 2 touchdowns and 97 yards, going 6 of 7 in the first 10 minutes of a ball game, will that do the job for you?
Yeah, I like what I see so far. I mean, it looks good. Now, I don't want to belabor this, and we won't make it, an all-night discussion.
Yeah.
But the Elks, this is 3 games in 7 days. It's the condensed schedule. It's the COVID issue they had early in the season, the makeup game they had to play in Toronto. The Players Association signed off. It's not any of, making it harder on the Elks. This is just the way it worked out. But to play 3 football games in 7 days, I really felt like they had to get out to an early start because it was going to grab them in the backside at some point. That lactic acid builds up. They had to fly from Toronto all the way to
After
Vancouver.
review by the command center, the runner was down by contact at the 1-yard line. It's 2nd down.
Well, we'll go and get down to the 1.
Well, he's smiling, but he's not happy.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll go and reset, but let's take a look because every score is automatically reviewed. And yeah, that looks like the elbow did touch down by contact before the ball crossed the plane. So the correct call is made, and it'll put it on the 1-yard line.
It was close. His 5th touchdown of the season in the passing game, brought back. But second and goal from the 1. Rourke, he's going to keep it. He's going to push ahead. The Elks do a decent job. Second effort will get it done though. Touchdown Rourke, and the Lions get it right back.
Yeah, and Burnham gets the assist. Burnham with helping Nathan Rourke into the end zone, and there's the big boys getting a chance to spike it and have some fun. But here comes the push from the guys up front. Rourke is a little hesitant when he first hits the line, almost like he's trying to pick his way through, but Grimes, and look at Burnham. Burnham gets in behind and starts driving.
He threw one to him, so he's going to help his buddy.
Going to help him get in there.
Push him in there for the touchdown. So originally, Lucky Whitehead ends up being Nathan Rourke, and either way, an opportunity here for BC to take full control of this game early on as Vogel sends that extra point through. And the party has started for the BC Lions at BC Place. 14-0 lead. Big fella with a little bit of celebration, and why not? It was a quick one. 56 yards on 4 plays, pretty efficient here from Rourke.
Yeah, great recognition there on the blitz pickup to Grimes, and that gets it down inside the 10. Watch how quickly the release here from Rourke to get it out to Lucky Whitehead. That was brought back to the 1-yard line, and then he took it off that left side. Hunter Stewart and Philip Norman paving the way for Rourke. A little help from Brian Burnham.
Conversation there with his veteran teammate, Michael Riley. Anderson takes it at the 20. Cuts it back up, stays on his feet towards the 40. And he'll hang on to that ball as the BC Lions try to yank it out. Cornelius and this offense trying to get on track. Here's a look at what they're working with.
Well, you're going to see Dre Wesley back at left tackle, gunning back to the top of the order. There's been 4 or 5 different players playing left tackle. On the other side, Matt O'Donnell is the nominee for outstanding lineman, and this is a last sort of minute decision. It's supposed to be James Wilder starting, but Walter Fletcher will get another start at tailback.
Fletcher has shown well when given the opportunity so far this season. High snap, Cornelius goes and gets it, hands it off to Fletcher. Fletcher stays on his feet, pushing ahead, and that's what they need on first down. He'll get 12 yards and a fresh set.
A lot of youngins up front for the BC Lions. They have a rotation of 8 different D linemen, and only Alex Bazzi has CFL experience other than this year. Boom-Bochum, pretty good season for him. There's your nominee for outstanding Canadian and outstanding defensive player and outstanding rookie. Jordan Williams got that nod. Anthony Chaffee will start at safety, first time this season for the Lions.
Williams has had a pretty good year, you'd say, okay? Oh yeah, holy smokes. Here's Tavon Smith looking for something to open up. The screen never really could get there. And they will force him out of bounds just past midfield. And now officials rushing over to the far sideline. Hakeem Johnson in the face of the Elks over there.
There's that quick screen. Vaughn Smith, I have to say a disappointing year, but only because of the expectation. I mean, everyone looking at this team thought Tavon Smith was going to have a monster season.
Led the team in touchdowns last year. You're thinking there was going to be another big step there coming. Closing in on 300 yards for the year, but has not scored yet this season. There's a completion to Edwards, and that should be enough for a first down for Cornelius and the Elks, who really need to strike here to stay in this football game.
Yeah, they do. They do. This is a big drive for them because, you again, and I'm not going to harp on it all game, but the fatigue factor will kick in at some point. If it's not already for the Elks, they look like they're just a half step behind, and that's justifiable based on their schedule. But you got to find a way. Dig deep. Don't let that fatigue get to you.
First and 10 on the BC 46. Thank you very much for joining us for the second half of this doubleheader. Some time now for Cornelius. Can't find anybody and eventually has to throw it out of bounds on the far sideline as he moved to his right. Nothing opened up, or at least he didn't see it.
He's shown this throughout his starts, that he's got some mobility, decision-making process. You know, these young quarterbacks have been throughout the league many times, and Kent Austin used to say that you need to have in your quarterback accuracy, decision-making, mental and physical toughness.
The only first-year quarterback to throw for more yards than Cornelius with Edmonton was Ricky Ray in 2002. That's going all the way back to the early 50s. Cornelius. His intended target has slipped as he tried to come back to that ball. It's Jalen Tolliver, who's looked pretty good down the stretch here for Edmonton, but footing let him down there.
Yeah, with Walter Fletcher, Jalen Tolliver, another guy who's really showed well. There's just a slip, man. The ball was put on the outside shoulder where it was supposed to be. That's where Cornelius wanted that ball. The receiver just slipped.
Lucky Whitehead waiting back around his 5-yard line as Hugh O'Neill averaging just shy of 43 yards per kick this season. He will kick it away. This bounces at the 12. Will settle down. Scooped up there by Sales, actually, and he will step out of bounds. BC Lions comfortably on top 14-0. Well, an absolutely devastating week in the Abbotsford area due to all the rain and flooding. Our thoughts and prayers from the TSN family go to everybody who has been impacted by this, and there are many, including a star on the BC Lions. For more on that, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Thanks, Dustin. When Boseko Locombo was driving from his home in Chilliwack to the Lions practice facility in Surrey on Monday, it was raining a lot. By the time he got to the facility, the rain had gotten so bad, head coach Rick Campbell decided they would not practice outside. They actually just did a walkthrough in the locker room. When he drove home that night, he realized this was different. And on Tuesday and Wednesday, he couldn't get through that stretch of highway. It was flooded and closed down, so he couldn't make it to practice. Wednesday night, he wound up taking a back road on a smaller highway. It took him 2.5 hours to get into town so he could be at the walkthrough Thursday and eventually play in the game today. He had to stay there. Now, this really affected Locombo. He doesn't simply live in the Chilliwack, Abbotsford area. He's from there. He played high school and youth football in that area. He talked about how many people were losing their land, farms were flooding, homes are being evacuated, animals were dying. It really got to him, and now that the season is ending, he does plan to get involved in that area to try to make sure things are better for people he really believes are part of his family.
This is one of those situations, Glenn, where the whole nation will come together to help the folks that have been hit by that.
Unbelievable, the amount of rain and flooding and just how many people it's impacted and still is. So our thoughts are with you, and hopefully you're sitting in a bar getting a little relief from it, watching the BC Lions and one of your own in Bolacombo. 228 millimeters of rain in a day and a half.
That's unbelievable. It just doesn't make any sense. Now here's a completion on the near side of the field, and that'll be eventually forced out of bounds as they found Scarfone down the sideline.
So accuracy, decision-making, and mental and physical toughness. So here's a managing of the pocket, going through the read progression, and finding Scarfone on the sideline like he was a third or fourth option. A nice 19-yard gain from Nathan Rourke.
115 yards so far for Rourke here as we work our way towards latter stages of the opening quarter. He'll hand it off to Butler. Butler a decent push ahead. He'll give him 5 yards out to the 40.
I like how he finished that handoff. He gave the handoff to Butler, but Rourke hustles like he still has the ball. That might be a small thing, but those little things matter. And it often you don't see it from young quarterbacks. They'll hand the ball off and then they'll just turn to see how the running back does with it. But watch how he finishes the play. Goes out as if he's faking it on his own and that he still has the football.
Well, he's a guy who can make some plays with his legs as well. Right?
Absolutely.
So keep an eye on that. Work pressure this time, and they're going to get there. Coming around the edge, I believe it was Casher who led the way on that one. Betts there to help out, but Chris Casher getting home on Rourke.
Yeah, they did such a great job there, Matthew Betts and Kasher, of just collapsing the pocket. One from one side coming this way and the other, and they don't give an escape lane to Nathan Rourke. It's just straight up the field, hard pass rush, and collapse it down inside on those tackles so that there's no escape lane.
Well, they got that win in Toronto on Tuesday, and it was their defense that led the way. And there's a blocked kick. There's a flag as that ball bounces loose. It's going to be scooped up. It's the former University of Alberta Golden Bear, Shaden Phillip, who got his hands on it.
I think he blocked it too. It looked like he blocked it and recovered.
Edmonton needed some sort of spark to get themselves going. Special teams
Holding.
just
Edmonton
provided
number
it.
33. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Wow. That one stings.
Grant McDonald got upfield. He must have been holding one of the personal protectors that were.
And not very often you'd see a hold in that situation.
Well,
right?
and that personal protector trying to block Shaden Phillip was being held. Let's take a look. 33, Grant McDonald's right in the middle of your screen there. Well, it actually wasn't a personal protector. It was just a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Wow, the Lions know what that feels like. Lucky Whitehead in their last game had a big return for a touchdown against Calgary, and two penalties on the play. Took it off. Josh Woods was the guilty party there for the Lions in that game. This time it's Grant McDonald.
Tough break for the former Calgary Dino. Leads this team in special team tackles. He's had a really nice season for them and gets flagged there. Now Rourke on the run, down the field. Another completion, this one inside the 50, and he is spreading the love around, this time to 88. Shaq Johnson for 17 yards.
Johnson a little slow to get up there, but now we're taking a look at Rourke on the run. A little play action. Remember that time he gave Butler the ball and kept it around the corner and made it look like he still had it? Well, this time he does have it, and now he's given his receiver and Shaq Johnson lots of time to work that route, go way up the field, get the DB to turn, get out of his chair. You know what the chair is? I'm going to explain the chair to you.
I would love to. I would love to hear exactly what the chair is. Here's Rourke. Again, this time over the middle, and that one dropped just inside the 45, and that will do it. Was looking for Rhymes, who had a 48-yard big one earlier on, but an excellent start for Rourke. 132 yards and a touchdown in the air. Scored a touchdown himself as well. And the BC Lions, in their final game of the season, have to like their start. They're up 14-0. Well, the numbers say it, pretty lopsided opening quarter there. The BC Lions dominating every aspect of this game so far.
Yeah, Nathan Rourke looks pretty good in that first quarter. We'll see how this game goes on. Now, so this is the chair, Dustin.
Tell me about the chair.
So when the DB is in his back pedal stance, okay, so I've got a nice little bent knees, eyes up, looking at the waist of the receiver. This is my chair. I backpedal in my chair, and I'm comfortable in my chair. As soon as you as a receiver get me to get up out of my chair and turn and run with you, that's when you break off.
There you go.
And you make your play. So
there you go.
You got to get the DBs out of their comfort chair.
I think they've got everybody out of the comfort zone so far in this game. And you know what? That block that was called back would have been huge for Edmonton to kind of get some life in this game. And now you're going to need your defense to step up here. They did get the ball back from Rourke one time, but Rourke, 132 yards in the first quarter. If you're talking about the quarterback situation in BC next year, and if you had that Rourke all the time, you'd probably be pretty happy. He's got the ball again. There's a flag back at the 50 as he does complete it to his running back, James Butler.
This is going to go against the Lions. Boy, the teams let the Elks down twice
Holding.
now.
BC number 65. Penalties declined. It's third down.
Look at that first play where Javon Catoy on the fake.
Yeah, so two huge plays, the two biggest special teams plays in this game so far have been like massive plays in this game already.
Yeah, and then the block punt that's called back because of a bad decision by Grant McDonald.
It'll be 3rd and 6 here. Edwards goes back as they set up a 51-yard field goal attempt.
Oh, they're short a man. Oh, Lacombo
will hustle out there. 10 seconds on the clock. They'll have to hurry here. Longest so far for Vogel in the CFL is 39. This one 51 from the right hash. And they aren't going to get it off.
Oh, whoa. Boy, the holder can't pull the ball like that.
BC, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Now they're going to punt it.
5 yards will back them up, take them out of field goal range. Here's another look at what just happened.
Flintoff is the holder, and you just like Vogel was going through with his kicking motion. He didn't know he was going to pull it away here. This is the old Lucy and Charlie Brown move.
I was just going to say he got Charlie Brown.
He's gonna lose it. That's gonna.
You know what?
Surprised his leg didn't fly across the line of scrimmage there.
Charlie Brown, if you get sucked into that often, you deserve what's coming. Here's Edwards. He's going to wait. Rolls down to the 2. Picks it up. He's got nowhere to go. They wrap him up immediately. And the crowd here at BC Place loves it after a 46-yard kick. That's a nice one. Flintoff, who's had himself a pretty good season. Let's get an injury update from Farhan Lalji.
Guys, the most entertaining play in that first quarter may have been that onside punt, which Javon Catoy recovered. It was executed perfectly, but it came at a cost because he's injured his thumb on the play. His return is questionable. Lions also lost Shaq Johnson for a couple of plays in that last series because a contact lens that fell out. He should come back, but we'll see. Maybe in the second half, they'll get another look at Catoy. More reps for Scarfone and Hatcher when they get back on offense.
Contact lenses drive me nuts. That's why I wear glasses. Catoy, though, is having a nice year.
You know, in the last couple of games, he's been targeted a bunch more, and he's done some nice things, so it's too bad.
Cornelius will give it to Fletcher, and Fletcher looked like he had a little bit of a burst, but the BC Lions crushed it immediately.
Well, you need a bubble. You need a bubble at the point of attack as a running back to try and just get a little bit of room so that you can make a move. And do the Lions give them any room? None. Lock the door right at the left side of that formation. The point of the attack is just shut down.
Watch them. Thurman. All making life difficult for Walter Fletcher. They lost the yard. 2nd and 11 for Cornelius. He's going to look down the field. Up for grab. Tolliver bumped, and there's a flag. Pass interference out at the 40 as Tolliver tried to go back with his left arm, and it looked like that was taken away. Hakeem Johnson there in coverage.
Tolliver.
Pass interference. BC number 18. Automatic 1st down.
Tolliver goes up. It looked like Hakeem Johnson didn't make a lot of contact, but he did make contact. And he tried to do it in a very subtle way, as if he was going for the ball, but it was early. You know, I'm not disputing the call here on pass interference because he makes contact without looking and actually impedes the receiver to the football. But watch how he tries to get away with it subtly, just like, I was just playing the ball. I just swung at it.
Took a little whack at it after, but got him on the flyby, essentially.
Yeah, he hit him.
Tolliver, 3 catches on Tuesday, closing in on 400 on the season. He'll give it to Fletcher, and he takes it just outside the 40. A short pickup on 1st down.
Tell you what, though, that throw to Tolliver that drew the pass interference call from Taylor Cornelius was just a flick of the wrist. He put a lot of air on that, 40, 45 yards without even trying.
Took a while, I think, for a lot of his receivers to adjust to how hot that ball was coming in, and maybe they have. I mean, a lot of the guys, Ellingson not in. Walker was targeted 14 times last week, 13 times last week. So as Cornelius continues to try to get that timing down with some of these receivers here late in the season, this play is complete to Fletcher out of the backfield, but it will be short of what they needed.
He has a strong arm. He can throw a heavy ball, but you know, there's still the standard is Matt Dunnigan. When Matt threw and still throws the ball, you can hear it. I mean, it's not just coming hard. You can actually hear it whistling through the air. I don't know, when we get through this COVID thing and we can go back on the field, I'll see if I can hear Cornelius's throws, but the standard is the guy sitting in the studio. He put it through a wall.
Doing a game in Montreal with Matty a couple of years ago, and there were some kids playing football when we were going up to the booth. He goes, oh, I'd like to be out there slinging it around. And I was just like, I would like to try to catch one of his balls, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know how that's going to go over. I got very soft hands, right? I'm a media guy. This will be pushed back out to around the 35-yard line, and Rourke have that ball again, 136 yards and a touchdown already. Regular season coverage of CFL on TSN comes to a thrilling end tomorrow with the doubleheader. Action kicks off with a showdown between the Riders and Ticats, followed by a battle between the Blue Bombers and the Stamps. It all gets underway at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. It keeps rolling all night only on TSN. And some tense moments here at BC Place in Vancouver. A significant injury on the field. They have brought the cart out for returner Quandre Henderson. We're going to take one look at it. Yeah. And that's it, because it's one of those ugly ones that you don't really need to see.
Well, he just hits it up in the hole, and then he gets rolled on from behind, but clearly some damage to that leg. Lower leg, and yeah, that's the only look, and you just
don't want to see it.
No, hope for the best for him to get a speedy recovery and get to the hospital and get that taken care of.
An opportunity to actually get into the game here and return a few balls here tonight. And unfortunately now on the field in that situation, just awful.
Yeah, they got to stabilize that.
Got to be tough to be another player sitting there watching that, Glenn. I mean, you've been out in the field in those situations. You're going through your mind thinking, well, it's not me, but it could have been.
Yeah, you just your thoughts are with your teammate if you're a BC Lion, but it doesn't matter if you're the opponent. You're obviously just hope for the best, whether you're teammate or the opponent out there for the injured player. Not everyone can play this game. It's a tough physical game, and this happens. But every one of those guys knows, they know what they signed up for too. Wouldn't change a thing.
Play either. A physical game like that, you know the consequences when you play.
Wouldn't change a thing either. Just get this stabilized and get him in for X-rays and
hopefully a full recovery somewhere down along the way, and maybe he has an opportunity to return in the Canadian Football League. So late in the season, so many opportunities for guys just trying to prove something. One big return for Henderson could really make a difference for him moving forward, and now that opportunity has been taken away from him tonight. But the medical team has done an excellent job getting out here. It looks like they've got him underneath the stretcher now. They'll move him up on top. Consensus All-American back in 2016 with Pittsburgh. And a league, really, maybe the exception being in Ottawa, league looking for some more return men that can really make a difference. So it might have been an opportunity, right?
Yep, yeah, and will be again. Will be again. He'll come back from this. I mean, injuries happen, and
they are going to take him away. We'll take one more break, come back. Teammates over to see Henderson as he...
And opposition. The Elks...
Yeah, both, you're right. This is a football thing. This is not a BC Lions thing right now.
Yeah, the Elks went over, and every one of the Elks that were on the field there just went over and shook his hand. And best of luck, and get back as quickly as you can.
Henderson was just signed by the Lions last month, back in October. Started the year with the Bombers, was released in training camp. Had some time down in the NFL with the Steelers, practice time with the Carolina Panthers, Giants, Jets, Jacksonville. Was also a draft pick of the New York Guardians in the XFL in 2020. And now obviously he says a few prayers as he is going to be stretchered off the field. Leg has been stabilized, but like we said, we only showed you the play one time. And a round of applause here at BC Place for Henderson as he exits this game, 25 years old.
Here's what the athlete is doing too. This is Henderson now going in through his mind. You know, it's as much the pain of the injury as it is the pain of the missed opportunity. And he's already, I bet you right now on this stretcher, he's thinking about his rehab. He's thinking about the operation if he needs one.
When am I back?
When am I back? He's going through now the mountain that he's about to start to climb to make his comeback, to get back on the field.
All-star returner in the ACC with the Pitt Panthers. And he has been taken off. Thoughts and prayers with Henderson, and now we resume a football game. Completion to Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead pushing ahead. And he is awfully close to the 46, which is what they needed for a first down.
Sometimes I'd love to just get with wide receivers and say, how come every time you run a hitch screen, you want to take it back inside where all the defenders are? I mean, watch if Whitehead catches it. Now, Grimes is going to try and stay contained and stay wide, but he goes right back into traffic. Now, he gets a good gain on it. So many times they head back into traffic.
Not enough for the first down. Rourke gets this away as he's hit down the field, and that's going to be intercepted by Edmonton just inside the 25. Read well and stepping in underneath Aaron Grimes.
Well, Nathan Rourke on this throw is throwing it to Lucky Whitehead, his fastest receiver. And he'll get to know the DBs in the league as he continues to play, but one of the fastest DBs in the league is Aaron Grimes, and he can run step for step with Lucky Whitehead. He was out in front of Whitehead on that play. Aaron Grimes can run.
Inside that all the way. Defense makes a play. His first interception of the season. Had one called back just a few days ago. 7 knockdowns on the season, so he's been around it. Finally brought one in. Now they'll hand it off to Fletcher, spins ahead, but really nowhere to go against this BC Lions defense. BC is allowing over 100 yards per game on the ground this year, but they've done a pretty decent job containing Walter Fletcher so far.
Yeah, room to improve on that BC defense for next year for sure, but they've got a couple of keepers in Bolo Combo and Jordan Williams for sure.
Build a defense around those guys, right?
Absolutely.
Cornelius, 2nd and 9. Flushed out to his left on the run, finds Fletcher for a first down. And he slips as he tried to cut it back up the field, but he does take it just outside the 35. 12-yard pickup for Fletcher.
He's going to just sneak out of the backfield here. Walter Fletcher steps up, sneaks out of the backfield and across to go in the same direction as his quarterback. Nice cut back from jump cut.
That's a good football nickname. Empty backfield for Cornelius. Down the field, now one in no man's land. Looks like there was some confusion on the far side of the field. Was he looking for Fletcher again? Fletcher's been targeted 4 times already in this game.
Yeah, it almost looked like he put the brakes on thinking this was supposed to be like a curl route on the sideline there, and then and it was like Cornelius thought he was going to run the go route. Just he didn't even look back to the ball. He didn't even think he was a target there.
4 for 6 on second downs this evening. Second and 10 here for Cornelius. Over the middle, that's going to be picked off just outside the 50. It's TJ Lee. Lee will bring it back to the 40. Stays on his feet. Now he's going to dump it off again. He threw it into the hands of Hakeem Johnson. And Cornelius, late season struggles continue. TJ Lee picking off Cornelius. Second interception thrown by 15 on the Elks tonight. BC Lions offense going to be back in business.
Diego Villamontes is the intended target here, playing for Darrell Walker in this game for the Elks. And TJ Lee makes a great pivot move to get the turnover here. The pick back the other way. That gets his quarterback Nathan Rourke back on the field. And for more on Rourke, let's go down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, guys, you know, it's been a long time since Nathan Rourke's been a backup. The first 2 games of his collegiate career, he sat on the bench. He was number 2. Eventually, he took over, and it's been smooth sailing for him ever since. Having to go through this now has been a bit of a challenge having to watch, but he said the fact that Riley was not necessarily healthy during training camp and through the first part of the season, really right up until BC's bye week in September, Rourke got all the first-team reps against the professional defense. He said that really helped, and it's not really the physical speed of the game. That adjustment hasn't been as big for him as the mental adjustment and just how much they throw at him. In terms of what he's learned from Michael Riley, he says the biggest thing is how to prepare to be a pro, because so often when you're in college, everything is structured for you. But when you come here, you've got to do it yourself. You've got to figure out how to prepare as the week progresses. He learned so much of that from Riley, and now he just feels he's in a really good position. I said, look, do you still feel like a rookie? He says, well, no, but the guys still treat me like one. I've still got to sing and dance, whatever they say.
Face mask. Edmonton number 45.
Well,
15-yard penalty.
I just read an article after he played in the 3rd consecutive bowl game, the Idaho Potato Bowl, coming out of college with Nathan Rourke, and the article had a lot of quotes from his teammates in college. And all his teammates said he is a true leader. Ask him about himself, and he'll defer to the team, always. Competitor, first guy into the room, last guy to leave. You've got to be that to be a starting quarterback in pro football. Getting it done.
Staying off here tonight, there's a great throw to Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead will be tackled down at the 5. Here's a look at what set this up. Face mask that led to a 15-yard penalty. This was a Butler. And coming over there and grabbing him was Niles Morgan, the Feast Lion, eventually there to help finish him off. But that set up that last play, which was a completion into the hands of Lucky Whitehead. And now the BC Lions knocking on the door for the 5. Rourke's going to keep it, takes it to the end zone, touchdown! The Nathan Rourke show continues here at BC Place. The Lions go on top by 20.
Robin and Larry are having some fun tonight. That's Mom Rourke and Dad Rourke up there enjoying the show that son Nathan is putting on. He's looked good. Remember, Canadian kid, 3 years at Holy Trinity Catholic Secondary School in Oakville, Ontario, before going down to Elmore, Alabama for his senior year. And then the college resume that he built that we've talked about, but he's putting together a very good first half here.
Untouched to the end zone there. The extra point is wide right, so the lead will remain 20-0 for Rourke and the BC Lions. And he's been doing it with his arm. He can do it with his feet as well. Rourke all the way, untouched to the end zone. BC Lions dominating. What an evening for Nathan Rourke so far. This is what we call a fantasy monster evening for him. He's been excellent.
Well, there's his first touchdown throw of the night to Brian Burnham in the first quarter. Then shortly after that, he scored his first of 2 touchdowns on the 1-yard line there. And then that little fake out to Butler. And then straight up the middle for touchdown number 2.
Bunch of family members here tonight celebrating. They picked the right game to come to, up 20-0. How about those numbers in the first half for Rourke? And he's looked so steady, smooth, calm in every situation that he's had to face so far. Now this taken by Anderson, and he stumbles up towards the Edmonton 35. And the story of two young quarterbacks here trying to prove that they belong in the league. It's been great for Rourke so far as he sits there and chats with Michael Riley, all smiles. Obviously not so much on the other side for an Edmonton team that has had a horrible season and has struggled for the most part on offense. And now we're seeing a quarterback change as Prokop comes into the game in place of Taylor Cornelius, who was 4 of 10 for 27 yards and 2 interceptions. Prokop, who's been brought in to run the ball pretty much exclusively, is going to do that right here, pushing ahead. And he's got some room on the far side of the field. Prokop down midfield towards the 50, where he is taken out of bounds. And this is what he can do. BC Lions didn't see that one coming.
Walter Fletcher's going to be the lead guy through the hole for Dakota Prokop on this little quarterback draw from the shotgun position. 25 right up the hole first, and he's going to follow. He's going to follow Fletcher after that great block on the linebacker, and then a 25-yard gain for Prokop.
Prokop has only attempted 2 passes all season, completed 1 of them, but it was for no yards. We'll see how willing they are to let him take a few shots down the field. He'll hand it off to Fletcher, right up the gut, plunging down towards the 40, and close to another first down.
Well, he can run this style of offense, keep it prominently the run game, but then go from there and play a little play action game too, a little RPO where you have the run pass options really suited athletically for that type of offense. But the way Taylor Cornelius just wasn't seeing it, you mentioned the numbers, They were not good, and 2 interceptions, not surprised to see the change. And in fact, we can get on in the second half. I'm surprised that Nick Arbuckle isn't dressed. The story for the second half.
You're not the only one. But we'll have more on that a little bit later on. Prokop at the 40, trying to push ahead. Boy, BC did a great job there. He lunges ahead as he's thrown down.
Jordan Williams, rookie nominee, 2nd in the league in tackles coming in.
Got enough for the first down, but that was a hard half yard.
Yeah, he earned that one, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Worst case scenario here for Edmonton, it's a different look offensively, right? You'll see what else they can do here for Prokop, but Williams has had an absolutely phenomenal season. I guess as advertised when you're drafted where he's drafted. It's going to be 1st and 10 on the BC 39, where the Elks looking for some sort of spark here. Oh, what? And this was sloppy. This is not a good look.
Edmonton number 14. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Time count violation, as they weren't able to get that ball out in time. A tough one for Cornelius. There's a lot of football over the last week for these guys. You talked about how they needed a good start. When your season has been as bad as this one has been, you're playing this many games and you're down to this point, tough to really muster up anything for Edmonton to see if they can find some sort of momentum for Prokop in the game. He's got 4 receivers to the wide side of the field, over to his right, looks to his right. Now he's in trouble. He's got nowhere to go. The Lions get home, and they take down Prokop.
Boy, all the routes there basically going out to the sideline on both sides of the field. So if Prokop, who was really deep in the pocket there, I mean, he was going to have like a monster arm to get it out that deep in the pocket with it collapsing around him, because the routes were all to the sideline.
2nd and 19 now. Cornelius back in the game. Airs one out, and that's going to be intercepted just inside the 25 by Chaffee. And Chaffee's going to step out of bounds. So Cornelius comes back in an obvious throwing situation and immediately throws his third interception of the night. Things go from bad to worse for Taylor Cornelius.
Yeah, I just, you look at this and you wonder what he saw, because there's the Ernest Edwards route. He's going straight down the numbers, a little fake to the outside, but that was so underthrown. It was almost as if Ernest Edwards was supposed to run the dig route in front of it. I mean, Edwards is 10 yards behind Chaffee.
First interception of the season for Anthony Chaffee. And the BC Lions, with a 20-point lead, get the ball back. Rourke to Rhymes lunging ahead, just shy of another first down for BC as we creep inside 3 minutes. Lions full control.
Wake up, gentlemen, we have a promo to do. All right, coming up at the half, we're going to talk great Nathan Rourke. In this Elks schedule, they've been all over Canada. It's too much. And we have no idea where Davis Sanchez is. We'll try to find him.
I know where he is.
No, you don't.
Where's Sanchez? What's going on there? Panel coming up at halftime. We'll be talking about Rourke, and why would you? He's going to keep the ball here on 2nd and 2, and Rourke's got the first down and much more. Takes it down inside the 50 as once again making plays with his legs. That one's going to go for close to 8 yards.
Just before the last drive, after Rourke had thrown that interception, his receivers came right back to the huddle and said, hey, don't worry about that one. Let that one go. Every single one of them coming up to the young quarterback, give him a little pat on the head and saying, hey, let's get back out here, get executed. His receivers have his back.
You're not going to start patting me on the head, are you?
You're too tall.
Here's Rourke. That one looked as though the intended target was Burnham, and he slipped. And that ball went flying incomplete. Moncrief was in the territory there.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that have slipped tonight. I'm not sure why. I mean, the turf looks like it's in good shape and hasn't changed, but that's third or fourth time now we've seen a receiver slip on the cut.
Burnham had a couple of big plays on that first drive of the game, 26 yards and a touchdown. Hasn't seen anything since then. 2nd and 10 now for Rourke from the Edmonton 47. 20-point cushion at home. Time down the field. Rhymes complete. Rhymes will grab him and take him down. Not before he gets inside the Edmonton 15 as Rhymes works his way towards a 100-yard gain.
Well, I like Nathan Rourke's vision. I mean, he sees the field so nicely. This is a corner to the wide side of the field. He's on the opposite hash mark and gets it out there to him. Like it was just a drop coverage by Aaron Grimes there. He had to speed turn it and try to get back to make the tackle. It does that and saves the touchdown until the big game was executed.
Flag there, some movement on that BC line before the ball was snapped. Rourke, 197 yards.
Procedure
here in the first half.
BC number 50. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Phil Norman. A little anxious. Making his first start here for the BC Lions. A Lions line that's actually stuck together very well this year. Perkins has come in here and done an excellent job. He's their nominee for most outstanding lineman, but the majority of these guys have been together all season. Rourke now put some heat on that one, and it will fall incomplete. Burnham, Whitehead, both over on that side of the field.
I think Burnham ran the wrong route. You could tell the veteran pointed right at himself, patted himself in the shoulder and the chest and said, yeah, that was me running the wrong route, because you often don't see two receivers that close together. Just to the left of your screen was Lucky Whitehead.
Second and 15, just inside the red zone for Rourke. Three options to the wide side right. That's where he's going to go. Gets it to Whitehead. Can Whitehead make a play? He will. Pushing towards the end zone. pops up just short, but Mikey Whitehead, get the ball in his hands and let him do the rest.
Boy, he can accelerate. You know, and I said I was surprised he got the MOP nomination, but, you know, I mean, the guy is electric, and I certainly don't want to take anything away from that nomination. I just, you know, when your quarterback leads the league in passing, he's usually going to get the nod, but boy, he's explosive. He's got that go from 0 to 60 in a split second.
First and goal from the Elks 2. Rourke, will he keep it again? Tucks it under his left arm, untouched to the end zone, touchdown, a hat trick for Rourke. One through the air, now 3 on the ground. My goodness, what a night!
We're just coming up on halfway. On pace for 400 passing, and this is touchdown number 3 for 23-year-old Nathan Rourke. BC Lion fans can be pretty excited about this kid.
You'd have to be right now, wouldn't you? If you're watching at home, you've got to be pumped up.
And listen, I know he's playing a tired Edmonton Elks team. Again, we're not going to belabor that, but looks good, very good.
Extra point, a success, 27-0. The BC Lions and 4 points off yet another Edmonton turnover. So a tale of 2 nights. You've got Rourke being responsible for 4 touchdowns on one side, and Taylor Cornelius, the more experienced of the 2 quarterbacks, 3 interceptions on the other side.
Remember when Lucky Whitehead was in the huddle and he tapped Rourke on the helmet and said, hey, don't worry about it, I'll help you out. We're here for you. We got your back. Lucky Whitehead in motion is going to get a big block on Darius Williams to get his quarterback that running lane right in between there and get in the end zone. They did have his back.
Helped him out. Williams is coming around for him. Whitehead stopped him in his tracks. Hey, Lucky. A lot of cheering for a family tonight. And yeah, he can take a ball for every single member of his family that came with the way he's been playing this evening. Anderson on the return. And he'll take it outside the Edmonton 40. What will we have at quarterback? Looks like it will be Prukop coming back out here for Edmonton.
You know, this game is important for Jamie Elizondo to see what he has in some other players. That's what we've seen with Walter Fletcher, who's been a great surprise when he got his first start a few games ago, and he's looked like a guy that the fans in Edmonton can get real excited about for next year. Jalen Tolliver is another one.
Those are the 2 that really jump off the page.
Absolutely. So what does he have at quarterback? We know Taylor Cornelius, seen him now for this being his 8th start. What do they have at Prukop?
3 years with the Argos for Prukop. Now you just get hit with another time count.
He's going to have to get the ball snapped. That's the first step.
He's been around the league for 4 seasons now.
Time count violation. Edmonton. It's a loss of down. It's 2nd down.
So they lose the down, and it'll bring up 2nd down. And like we said, a lot of football for Edmonton, but
can Dakota Prukop throw? Can he throw? Can he read the defense? Can he run the passing game? I mean,
they haven't allowed him to do that yet this year. Even on that 2nd and 19 in a throwing situation, they did bring Cornelius back in, and he threw that interception. Maybe he'll throw here. Prukop with some time, and that one should have been picked off as well. Chaffee was waiting for it, went right through his hands. Would have been his 2nd of the quarter.
this is one where Anthony Chaffee is probably saying, I'm glad they played me at safety today, because the Elks quarterbacks aren't seeing it, and I might get 1 or 2. This one goes right through his hands. Distracted a little bit by the receiver, but could have it.
O'Neill standing just inside his 30. Just over a minute to play in the first half. The first half that has been all BC. Whitehead slides underneath it at the 32. 37-yard kick. Whitehead now bringing it up the near sideline, staying on his feet. There's some room for Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead inside the 40 to the 30 to the 10, and he is gone. Lucky Whitehead to the house.
He can run. He can fly. Wow.
Never even in doubt, really. As soon as he got to that corner, he was gone.
We saw it against Calgary. It was called back, and they didn't play 3 games in 7 days, but look at the speed from Lucky Whitehead out around the edge, and he outruns any possible angle to catch it from the backside. No shot. Wow.
79-yard return
He can go.
for Lucky Whitehead. That shot pretty much sums up the night for Edmonton. He's fun to watch, isn't he?
Oh, and people are now going, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't he have been the MOP nominee? Okay, I stand corrected. I got it. He is exciting, though. I mean, if there's a most explosive player in the league, he's a candidate.
Well, he has fit in so perfectly here with the BC Lions, coming from Winnipeg. They've used him in all situations.
How about that?
That's an exciting
Souvenir for a couple of kids in the crowd. That's pretty cool.
I also don't know if I've ever seen Lucky Whitehead not smiling. Even when that touchdown got called back earlier, he was still smiling. Hang on to that ball.
I'll tell you what, the way he was holding it was correct. That's a minor football kid right there, I guarantee you.
I need it. What's up, mama? Hey, where the candy at? Show the candy.
34-0. And all aspects of the BC Lions, offense, defense, special teams, firing on all cylinders tonight. A low kick that will be taken by Anderson. Anderson takes it out to the 40, staying on his feet, and will eventually be taken down around the Edmonton 40. Special teams for the Elks.
Yeah, it's been a problem. It's
Not
been a
a
problem all
strength.
season. You take a look at punt return average, 8th in the league, last in punt return, opponent's punt return average, and trying to stop it on their cover teams. Kick return average again last. And when you're last in that many statistics, special teams units, so important in Canadian football.
They have gone 6 years without a return touchdown. Cornelius back into the game.
We said it earlier. Gizmo.
Well, that was Prokop, rather. Sorry, he gets taken down. There's an injured offensive lineman. That's Dre Wesley. But yeah, you used up all the good returns with Giz.
They used them all up. Giz got them all.
That might be the case.
No, but that's an area of concern they got to work on and prepare for next season, is to find that returner. That's where it starts. But you think about giving up the fake early in the fake field goal the Lions ran. Then they block a kick but get a penalty on that return. That takes the block kick off the board. Special teams haunting them again in this one.
Disastrous first half for the visitors. Prokop will throw this time, and he's got a completion on the far side of the field, close to a first down, just shy of the 51. Tavon Smith with the catch.
And there's the general manager that's got to take a look at the personnel, reload, and get ready for another season, provided we'll see what kind of changes, if any, throughout the offseason. It probably won't take long. Many are saying that they don't think there will be a change in the GM job, and Brock Sunderland will be back along with Jamie Elizondo.
Be a bold strategy. Fan base in Edmonton not pleased with this organization right now.
And justifiably so. I mean, Edmonton has a great tradition in their football team, and this is just not what it is and what it's used to be. So, you know, and it starts a quarterback. We'll get into the conversation in the third, but
we could have a long conversation on the quarterback situation. There's no doubt about that, and we will. We'll touch on that, certainly. Cornelius, it looked like he was taking a lot of steps in the right direction, but the last couple of games haven't been great. Prukop down the field, and that is a spectacular high reel catch. Armani Edwards goes up and gets it. Biggest play of the game for Edmonton.
yeah, and keep in mind Greg Ellingson, Darrell Walker, Mike Jones all out of the lineup tonight for the Elks, and this is Armani Edwards, who missed most of the season due to injury, but he's capable of these types of plays, and that's a special catch. Two Lion defenders, and those just aren't any defenders. Those are two veterans in Gary Peters and TJ Lee. He goes up and skies for that one.
Best play of the year from Armani Edwards.
And not a bad throw from Prukop. I mean, he got it out there.
Yeah, he put it up. Edwards went and got it. Well, that catch, well, that pass alone was more than what Cornelius had done. He was 4 of 11 for 27 yards. And that was a 45-yard pickup for Prukop, and now they're inside the red zone. Just 12 seconds left. Can Edmonton find some sort of spark? Work from the BC 13. Prukop, far side. That's complete. Ernest Edwards down inside the 5. 2 seconds on the clock.
Well, 2 seconds. You go for the end zone here, and you know, this is 3 good throws from Dakota Prukop, and you had to answer that question: can he throw from the pocket? Can he run the passing game?
He has on this drive. Might be something to build on in the second half for an exhausted Edmonton team. Second and inches. Just 2 seconds on the clock. Towards the corner. It's up for grabs, and it is caught. Touchdown on the far side of the field. Jalen Tolliver, his 4th of the season. Load that bitch up.
Yeah, Tolliver snatches it in the air because Prukop puts this right where he wants to, which is in the back shoulder of the defender, TJ Lee. He's thrown it to the back of Lee because Tolliver can see that and Lee can't. He's looking at Tolliver run that go route, and Tolliver times his jump perfectly to snatch it out of the air around TJ Lee.
Oh, late season push from Tolliver continues. 4 touchdowns on the year, tying Shai Ross for the team lead. Sean White, the extra point is good, and at the end of the half, the Edmonton Elks finally show something. A 6-play, 69-yard drive to get them on the board, but other than that, it has been ugly for the Elks. Lions on top 34-7. Let's send it to Kate in the panel.
I am Kate, and this is the panel.
It's Friday night football, yeah! Boys are all here, gonna put on a show. Come
Now, BC Place has been good to the home side so far this evening as we get started for the third quarter of action between the BC Lions and the Edmonton Elks. 34-7. BC on top right now. Nathan Rourke, a sensational first half, 14-20 for 214 yards, a touchdown through the air and 3 on the ground. Cornelius, not so much. 4 of 11 for 27 yards, was taken out of the game through 3 interceptions. Prukop has come in and went 4 for 6 for 67 yards and a touchdown. Very interesting night shaping up for these quarterbacks with Edmonton, Glenn.
Well, I think that final drive for Dakota Prukop was an important one. I mean, not only for him and his career moving forward. But to try and see if the Edmonton Elks can get back in this football game, they're going to need a quarterback to put together drives like he did.
Maybe some sort of boost from special teams as we get ready to kick things off here in the second half. Final game of the season for the Lions and the Elks. This will be taken by Anderson. Anderson to the 30. Anderson hit hard at the 35. Looked like he might have been ready to take that one for a big return, but Gustav was there with other ideas.
Yeah, Gustav just leaned into it. Big hit on the teams. I've said this before, but the ground rumbles when there's a kick cover team like this, and look at that. Stopped him in his tracks.
2021 global draft pick.
Woo! Stop them!
7th special teams tackle of the season. They'll hand it off to Fletcher, a nice burst, and he's got a first down out to the Edmonton 50, 14 yards there. Fletcher, 5 of 25 in the first half. Big push there.
Run pass option. Fletcher up here, Prukop off the edge. And with a running quarterback like this, it really puts a defensive end in a bind because he's got to stay wide to contain the quarterback, or at least try to. It opens up run lanes.
Prukop keeps it this time. Finds Shai Ross for a pickup of 6 yards, and they cross midfield.
So Jamie Elizondo comes in the second half. That one drive from Prukop was enough to give him the start in the second half and see what he's got with Prukop, get him going here, and they're going straight to, as we said in the first half, that run pass option style of offense where he's always riding Walter Fletcher and then making the decision based on the defense.
More receivers to the left, that's where he looks. That pass looked a little low. Looked incomplete to me. Nobody's signaled anything yet on the field.
Boy, they're saying it's a catch. I thought that one
I didn't
hopped.
see that.
It looked like it one hopped when it was live, but did he get his arms and hands underneath it? Oh, maybe he did.
Boy. One hop up off his fingertips?
Ernest Edwards, that came up off his hand. It bailed out his quarterback there.
Went down low and came away with it. Edwards' first catch in the league was a big touchdown in Edmonton earlier in the season. And he's kind of been in and out of the lineup a little bit since then. They use him in the return game as well. But he's obviously a guy with some speed. Did a nice play there.
Well, the last 3 games for Edmonton have been about that. Finding, young players, bright spots, looking at next year. What do you have? Get guys off the practice roster. Get them onto the field and in the lineup and see what they can do. Danny Vandervoort a couple games ago, a couple of touchdowns for him, getting some playing time. Seen a little of Ernest Edwards. We know what Armani Edwards can do. Seen him before, as you mentioned, in Toronto, but it's what these games are all about. And as Derek Moncrief told us last week, every day is a resume day.
Prukop trying to add to his right now, hands it off to Fletcher. And Fletcher got picked up right away by Bazzi after a pickup of 4 yards.
The other thing I like about what Prukop's doing right now and what he did on that last drive the first half was his energy. He's got some bounce in his step, and I think the team is rallying around that.
It's a little bit of an uncertain quarterback situation in Edmonton going into next season, so this is his first crack where they've actually said, hey, let's run your offense and see what you can do. And he had a touchdown late in the half. Pressured here, dumps it off, caught by Fletcher, stays on his way, trying to get loose, and hanging on for dear life. My goodness, Jordan Williams, he wouldn't let him go, Glenn.
He got him. If he can get out of the grasp of Jordan Williams, this is a big gain. It's a 20-yarder at least and a first down, but he's got him around the knee. Now it's the ankle, working to get out. David Beard doesn't know how to help.
What do you do?
He's over there going, how can I help you here? The tackler is literally on the ground just hanging on. Nice tackle by Jordan Williams.
3rd and 4, and you're down 34-7. Got to go for as many as you can. He's going to send one down towards Devon Smith with separation. And he takes it down inside the 15, one of his biggest plays of the season.
You know, it really was. And Jamie Harry is the corner on the play. And this is what Devon Smith can do. He leans into this, into the inside, and then fades away to go and get the ball. That's an experienced receiver move, to just fade away. Slight little push, that's fine because there's pushing and pulling a little bit from both. But I love the way he faded away at the end of that and didn't give it away too early.
Nice touch with the ball.
Great throw.
To lay that in there. And are we going to get a challenge for offensive pass interference?
Well, that's what, you know,
You said small push.
yeah, it was a small push. It was almost like he was guiding. He faded away to get to the football there. It wasn't necessarily both players had a shot at it, and he was pushing him to gain position.
There was some contact there, but he kind of faded away to his right.
Challenging the previous play for offensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
Well, let's see if it was enough. I mean, you don't even see his shoulder move.
It didn't look like the push, if you want to call it that, really changed his direction in any way.
No, Jamie Harry was still. See the fade there.
I'm not even sure Harry knew he did push him, to be honest with you. Like, he was kind of looking back at the ball and continued straight forward.
You know, I mean, by the letter of the law, maybe, but you know, I think you've got to, at times, you've got to let the players decide the outcome of plays. And if we start getting, you know, way too technical on these calls.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
That's good.
BC has lost a timeout and may not challenge for the rest of the game.
You know, I know the Lions
First
fans
down.
don't like it, but let the guys compete. You're going to see a little hand fighting on fade routes like that. The DB will grab the arm, but if you don't hold on to it and really restrict the receiver, then you should be able to get away with that. And the same with that little push. I mean, that was really nothing.
That's one of those situations where I'm sure Lions fans even understand that there really wasn't
exactly.
anything there.
And that's the right call by the command center. My opinion.
First and goal on the BC 10 for Brukop. Keeps it. Now dumps it off. That's a low ball.
Boy, those RPOs, Dustin, are so interesting to me because Brukop's got a split second to make a decision. He's got a split second to make a decision here. And is he going to give the ball to Fletcher here, or is he going to keep it out on the outside? Now, he's looking at the D-line, and look if he keeps it. If he gives it to Fletcher, he scores.
Which would be his first touchdown.
But you got to make that decision in a split second.
Well, Edwards went down and got it again. So it's second and goal from the BC 4 for Brukop and the Edmonton offense. And this time, nowhere to go this time. And Fletcher stuffed.
And this time he gives it to him. And Bolacumbo steps in there and says, oh, well, I just saw this play, and if you had given it to him the last time, he scores because we couldn't have stopped him. But watch Lacombo step up, and Jordan Williams too, the two nominees in that defense. Canadian rookie, outstanding defensive player. Here we go. Take the field goal this time.
They'll take the 3 points.
Speaking of nominees,
Sean White.
Yep. Canadian and special teams
For the Elks. Couple of honors for Sean White. Chip shot here. And he puts that one home, and the lead is cut to 24. BC still on top. Well, at halftime, David Braley, longtime owner of the Lions, was inducted onto the Wall of Fame here in BC. For more, let's send it down to Farhan.
Well, certainly his rightful place on the Wall of Fame here in BC Place, but along with that, the David Braley Foundation made a $250,000 donation to 5 different amateur sports groups here in British Columbia, and then new team owner Amar Doman topped up that donation so that both Simon Fraser University and UBC could also receive a full share of those proceeds. Now, this is something that's been going on since 2002 when the late Bob Ackles started the Orange Helmet Award Dinner. So all of those groups were getting supported with funds from that, but given the last 2 years and the restrictions around COVID-19, that's been virtually impossible to do. So the foundation, along with new ownership, decided they wanted to make that commitment and make sure they could support and continue to support amateur football here in British Columbia, and it continues over the course of the next couple of weeks as the BC High School football playoffs
Major
will
foul,
happen here at BC Place Stadium.
Number 45.
Huge support
penalty
for amateur football.
Outstanding. Yeah, just absolutely outstanding. $250,000. That includes UBC and SFU football programs, BC Secondary School Football Association, as Farhan mentioned, and knows very well, by the way. But when you think about that donation and the estate of Mr. Braley being sorted out and that to be part of it, and then the new owner, Amar Doman, to top it off and add to it, to continue with the legacy, so important. And I've got a challenge for young amateur football players, because this is the ultimate team sport. Football is the ultimate team sport. And to be great teammates now as an amateur coach out there watching tonight, or amateur player playing amateur football in our province in BC, your part of being a good teammate now is to get out here, join these kids that are having a blast. By the way, that one's hanging onto the ball from Lucky Whitehead. Like, he's not letting go of that. There'll be no fumbles from them. But the challenge is, now it's your turn to come out and support the BC Lions.
Rourke with a big one. He'll take it down almost to the Edmonton 35.
And, you know, the other thing, and I would recommend that coaches do this, bring your football team here and tell the kids, if you're a quarterback and you're 10 years old, watch Nathan Rourke and then write me a little report on what you saw that he did well. If you're a DB, sit in the stands here at BC Place and watch TJ Lee play in his technique, and then give me a little written description of what you thought TJ Lee did. It's a great way to teach kids with pro football in your backyard and some of the best athletes in the world out here on the field putting a show on. So those amateur coaches and players that are benefiting from this donation, get out here and let's support the BC Lions.
There's another guy you want to watch if you're a young receiver.
Right?
Lucky Whitehead might be nobody better to watch with his explosiveness with the BC Lions.
How does he run routes? How does he get out of his route? How does he use motion? All of those things you can learn as a young player
hands to the face.
when you watch the pros live. When you watch, watching on TV is cool and it's fun and the big screen and all of that, you see the replays. But when you're here, you can just focus on one player that's playing your position. I did that as a kid here at old BC Place Stadium, going watching Larry Taggy and Larry Key and Ray Nettles, BC Lion, Jim Young. Jerry Taggy was a cardiac kid, by the way.
Here's Rourke after a penalty. Nice spin move. Throws one up, got it away. Looked like they were going to get him. But he spun away from Boateng.
That was quite the move in the pocket. I think Matt mentioned at halftime how Nathan Rourke has managed the pocket well, and he feels the pressure coming from outside, spins away from it, and makes a good decision to throw it out of bounds and not take the loss.
That was Chris Nelson, the victim of the spin. Boateng was there to finish him off after. 2nd and 20. There's an illegal hands to the face penalty against Ken Perkins that backed him up into this situation a couple of plays ago. Whitehead with a screen on the far side. Nice cut. Here's another one. Now he's just going to put his shoulder down and push ahead. Got about half what they needed, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Be interesting. Michael Riley's, I see what happens in the offseason. As the panel mentioned before the start of the game, he is going to be 37 next year. He's got a hefty contract for CFL standards, and I'm sure they will maybe talk to him to have both of them. But and this is one game. It's a small sample size, and it's a tired Edmonton team, as the guys mentioned. But everything we've heard and the discussions on Nathan Rourke, man, they're high on him, and I see why.
43-yard kick here from Vogel, and he drives it through the uprights as the BC Lions tack on a little bit more. A look at Nick Arbuckle on the sidelines, which is where he has been since they traded for him and signed him. For more on the quarterback situation, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Dustin, there's been a lot of speculation about why Nick Arbuckle has not played yet. And you look at situations like Trevor Harris in Montreal with a limited amount of time and managing to get on the field. But when Arbuckle first came here, they basically gave him a week to learn and attempt to digest the offense. And since then, there's been minimal practice time around this team. He's actually only been at 4 practices so far with live reps, and he's only taken, according to him, just 4 actual practice reps. He didn't want to take time away from Taylor Cornelius early in the week. And then now in this last stretch, when it seems to have made the most sense that you could play him, given the lack of time between games, they have not been on the field for 7 days where they played these 3 games. The Elks have not practiced on the field in a regular practice setting one time. It's been all virtual. It's been walkthroughs and things of that nature. The organization just didn't want to put him in a situation where he would potentially fail because it's an inexperienced roster right now. There's a lot of injuries, particularly along the offensive line. They just want to throw him to the wolves with such little in the way of resources around him. They want to put him in a position to build, get comfortable, and get through this at training camp next year. All 3 of these quarterbacks, Arbuckle, Prukop, and Cornelius, they're all signed for next year. They're comfortable with what they think they'll have in a quarterback room next year. And when you look at the contract, Arbuckle will have every opportunity to win the #1 job then, even though some may have wanted to see him now.
Well, Farhan lays it out nicely. I'm still not sure it makes sense to me, but we'll continue the conversation.
Well, you can agree to disagree in some of the sort of theories with regards to Nick Arbuckle. And for me, if you're afraid of failure, you've already failed. If he's not getting practice reps when a guy who's already had 7 starts, 8 coming in tonight, and Taylor Cornelius, why aren't you giving him practice reps with the first team? And why aren't you getting him on the field to take a look at what he can do with this group? I mean, they're not going to be able to swap out their entire offense in the offseason and bring in an entire new offense.
A lot of these guys are going to be back.
They're going to be back, and he's got to play with them and start to see if he can find some chemistry with them. And if he fails, it is because they're young and this is a struggling team and their special teams have been awful all year. It's not necessarily just on him, and the fans will know that. But I'm going to agree to disagree on the approach, because these were 3 games for Edmonton out of the playoffs that they could have got a good read and feel for what all these quarterbacks can do, including Nick Arbuckle.
Well, from an asset management standpoint, it does seem a little strange to give up a second-round pick for a guy that you don't use when you could have signed him as a free agent in the offseason if you really want him to be your guy, and they give him a contract for next year, which makes people believe that they would want him to be their guy. But with a few other free agent quarterbacks available, Arbuckle would have been somebody that if you really wanted, you probably could have gone and gotten. And we talked to Arbuckle shortly after he was acquired, and he didn't seem like a guy who was panicking about learning a new playbook and being ready to step in.
In fact, I think he said along the line, correct me if I'm wrong, was I feel pretty comfortable with the playbook. And and this is the other thing, he's not a kid in his first year like Nathan Rourke. Maybe if he's in that position, you don't throw him into the wolves, but he's a veteran player. He's been in Calgary, in Toronto. I'll agree to disagree on the philosophy. Let's put it that way.
I agree with the decision to kick away from Lucky Whitehead, which is what they just did. We'll be back. Just over 4.5 minutes remaining here in a third quarter. Rourke, 224 yards and a touchdown through the air. 3 touchdowns on the ground as well. He faces off against Niles Morgan and the Edmonton defense yet again. Rourke, with some time, sends one down the field. Coming back and grabbing it at the 45 is Burnham. And another big strike from Rourke.
Yeah, he had a little bit of trouble stepping into that, and that's why it was a bit underthrown because of the pressure. But Ryan Burnham was out there at the #1 spot. He's usually the slot back, but he's now playing the wideout. He just takes off running, and when he puts the brakes on, Darius Williams flies right by. The old Top Gun. Put the brakes on, let him fly right by.
Are you excited for that sequel?
Oh, can't wait.
I think it's going to be a good one. Pushing ahead here, pretty good second effort. That'll move them out closer to the 50 as they go once again to Butler.
Nathan Rourke, of course, the first recipient of the John Cornish Award, given to a top Canadian playing in the NCAA. He won it back-to-back years.
Well, that led to him becoming the 15th overall pick in the 2020 draft.
Yeah, highest quarterback since Jesse Palmer back in 01.
You don't see guys get drafted that high at that position in the CFL draft, and it looks like it might be a pick that pays off. Certainly has here tonight. He's got another completion to Scarfone for a first down and onto the Edmonton side of the field.
See, that was patience by Rourke there, because with the zone drops that Edmonton had to drop into, he needed to wait on that and then allow that flat route, allow the defenders to drop off to get it to Scarfone in the flat with lots of room to turn and run. Like he had to wait that extra 2-3 steamboats to let the zones drop out of there.
First and 10 on the 53. Back to Butler. And Butler is wrapped up immediately by Niles Morgan. Got a little bit of help from Boateng at the end of it. Lots to talk about the quarterbacks tonight, and obviously these two teams heading into the offseason. I know it's just one game, but the mindset of Cornelius on one side and Rourke on the other heading into the offseason, just night and day. I can't imagine what it would be like, to go out on a high like Rourke appears to be, and then on the other side with Cornelius wondering what happened down the stretch, because he was trending in a pretty good direction, and in the last couple of games he's had 6 interceptions. Here's Rourke. Another completion up towards the 40 as he goes back to Burnham. Once again, his 4th catch of the game.
Yeah, Brian Burnham was, about just over 100 yards away from 1,000, and now he's got another catch. He's right there in the middle. 69 yards for Burnham. Real deep curl.
Needed 104 coming into the game to hit 1,000 for the 5th consecutive season. He's had a catch in every game he has ever played in. From the 40, Rourke pressured this time. Dumps it off to Butler. Butler makes a move and is able to step out just outside of the Edmonton 35, getting him involved in the passing game as well. That's his 3rd catch of the game.
Boy, this is a wide field, and you get a one-on-one like that with James Butler against Keyshawn Bierria. He just kept him flat-footed there and got to the outside.
Talked a lot about the offensive side of the ball and some of the guys that we'll look to next year. Bierria and Niles Morgan are 2 guys in the linebacking core there for Edmonton, rookies that they really like what they've done so far this year. Now, not Jordan Williams level, but they've made some plays for this defense this year and been put in a spot as some young guys just learning the league still.
Yeah, I like Niles Morgan. I think he can play. He's their rookie nominee this year. Number 45 right there in the middle of your picture, and he's a guy you can build around. How about the season? And I know he's not a rookie, but Tremaine Washington has had a great season.
Huge
in fact,
season.
I was quite surprised he wasn't a nominee in Edmonton. And Derek Moncrief played 7 games. He was the outstanding defensive player nominee. Now Moncrief is an all-star. He is a flat-out all-star. So there are some pieces here in Edmonton, or in Edmonton, not here.
From just inside 45, and once again Vogel hammers it home, and BC hits 40, a 30-point lead late in quarter 3. Well, it's been a season to forget in Edmonton, but there have been some individual performances that are worth recognizing for sure. Glenn, what jumps off the page for you there?
Well, Matt O'Donnell's a great choice. I mean, he's had a solid season and a very tough season, obviously, for Edmonton. James Wilder, leading rusher for a good chunk of this season.
There's a push ahead.
I think fans are excited about this guy and Walter Fletcher, but I get that one. I'm a little surprised on Derek Moncrief. Again, not taking anything away from an all-star caliber player, but
half the season.
Half a season where Jermaine Washington, and I know he just got 2 picks on Tuesday to get 5 as a total, but
Brukop, he'll keep it this time, and he marches over midfield, and that might do it for the third quarter. Tremaine Washington has been bringing it the entire year there for that Edmonton defense.
DBs don't get much love this time of year.
Oh, it's always about the DBs with this guy. What are we going to do here? Edmonton down 30 on the road as their season wraps up. BC looking to go out with a victory in fourth in the West. Oh, welcome back to Vancouver, and welcome everybody who's been watching on TSN3 just joining us now. We got here just in time for a recap where it's been all BC Lions so far. BC Lions up 40-10. We're going to give you a look at the numbers, but here's all you need to know. It's a 30-point lead for the home side in the final game of the year for these two clubs. Rourke, the star so far, 278 yards and a touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns as well. Brukop, pretty decent showing so far with this opportunity he's getting.
Yeah, I think it's been quite impressive. I mean, you know, he's put together a couple good drives, and it has been the Nathan Rourke show tonight. But these are important moments for these players.
Brukop wide open. He's got Armani Edwards. Stumbles a little bit, but he's got enough for the first down and takes it inside the BC 45.
Basically, you know,
just short of it.
Basically, this game for these two teams is all about getting a head start on next year and making sure you make the necessary changes. And you know, it honestly, I know for Edmonton fans it doesn't feel like it, but it's honestly, these two teams are not far off. They're not.
Brukop trying to push ahead on 3rd and short. Needed the 43, got it, and that'll be a first down for Edmonton.
We talked about the fatigue factor, but you know, Greg Ellingson, Darrell Walker, and Mike Jones, 1, 2, and 3 on this team this year in receiving. Not in the lineup tonight.
Not been in the lineup for a while.
And there's Greg. You know what Greg Ellingson can do. So these games are about the younger receivers, but you add those guys, or maybe a couple of them, to the mix with young guys like Jalen Tolliver and Walter Fletcher, you're not far off.
Few pieces to be excited about, that's for sure. 3 receivers to the right for Brukop. That's where he's going to go, down the middle, and that one is going to be picked off inside the 10 by TJ Lee. Gets his hands on another one here tonight. BC Lions defense having their way with the Edmonton quarterbacks. 4th interception of the game for the BC defense. TJ Lee getting the job done this time. You need a little bit of help against Lucky Whitehead, don't you?
Well, Lucky Whitehead, I loved his reaction. That was a big pick by TJ Lee down there, but I love his reaction. It was like complete shock. You're not as good as you. No, you're not as good as me. No. That was Moxie, I believe.
What are you talking about, eh?
Stampeders, yeah.
Rourke closing in on a 300-yard game. That one's not going to get him there. He's at 278 right now, and it falls incomplete.
I think you tried to reload that one in the throwing motion.
Slipped away. Just 23 years old. This is not a guy who's been around for a long time, and he's 27. He's finally getting his opportunity. Just 23 years old.
Exactly.
In this spot, quarterback for the BC Lions. Now down the field, Whitehead goes back for it. He's got it just inside the 40, trying to break loose. They'll hang on for dear life. The Feast Lion wasn't going to let him sneak away. And Lucky Whitehead crawling his way up for another first down.
Deliberate back shoulder throw from Nathan Rourke, because he knows that, again, the defender can't see the Top Gun moment. You put on the brakes, he flies right by, you turn around and come back to the football. Back shoulder throw on purpose by Rourke.
39 yards, puts him over 300 for the first time in his career. He's at 317. Scarfone with the completion. lunges ahead on first down. It's close to half of what they need. Third catch of the game for Scarfone, getting involved a little bit in this offense. Whitehead's got 6. Burnham's got 4. Rhymes 89 yards on 3 catches so far. Rourke's done a good job moving this ball around the offense.
Getting some time from that big right tackle as their O-lineman nominee.
2nd and 7 over the middle. Another completion. That's down inside the 50 as he goes back to Rhymes. And that should take him close to 100 yards on the day.
So how close is Vancouver, the BC Lions, from turning things around? This is their outstanding lineman nominee, Kent Perkins from Texas, 6'5", 305, locking down the backside, allowing Nathan Rourke to step into that throw and get it to Rhymes.
Back-to-back 100-yard games. Dominic Rhymes. Handed off to Butler, pushing right through the middle of that defense. Close to another first down. Going to be short, but a nice push on first down there.
When Coach Campbell talked to us early in the year on the Zoom call, he felt, this was before game 2, I believe, he felt that his O-line may be the strength of this team as it went forward, just based on its personnel. Now, it went through some struggles this year.
Rourke on a keeper, trying to push it towards a first down.
But, you know, they were really counting on Riker Matthews to be a big offseason signing. That didn't work out because of his injuries. There's Kent Perkins, the offensive line nominee, and Jordan Williams and rookie Bolacamo got 2 of them in defense and Canadian, and then Lucky Whitehead, MOP. Again, when we talk about other possible candidates that could have been considered, like Michael Riley leading the league in passing, that's not taking anything away from Lucky Whitehead. I know it sounds like saying they made a mistake in that, but
what it sounds like is there's a lot of offensive weapons for Riley and Rourke, who we're seeing here tonight as they hand it back off to Butler, in a pretty good push right up the middle, down inside the Edmonton 35.
Well, here's the other thing about Nathan Rourke. Nathan Rourke hasn't really shown, I mean, he's got 3 touchdowns running, but he hasn't really taken off and run a ton. He's running the offense. Usually young quarterbacks, they get that first start. This is the real first start with the keys to the car, and he's not just looking at read number 1 and then tucking the ball and taking off. He's going through his progressions and moving the ball through the air.
2nd and 5 here on the Edmonton 32. He's got a man wide open once again to his running back. Butler makes one man miss, stays on his feet, pushes it down inside the 10 before he eventually is taken down. Moncrief was there to help him down to the turf, but another big pickup for Rourke and Butler.
And I'm noticing now with Nathan Rourke a quick release. I mean, a real snap, quick release, tight spiral type throw. See what that right tackle, Kent Perkins.
Whoa! Moncrief almost picked that one off. Was it caught before it hit the turf?
Oh, Moncrief got up there, didn't he? It was caught.
Moncrief went up and knocked it down, and then before it hit the ground, was it Bieria that slides underneath it? And a turnover for Rourke on what's been a pretty darn good night for the young quarterback. Moncrief starts it. Bieria gets there in time to finish it, and Edmonton's got the ball back.
Okay, Succession. Are you into that? Because I haven't started yet, but I keep hearing great things.
I watched the first few episodes. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Home Alone kid's brother is terrific in that. Here's a shot down the field, and that is going to be... Was it picked off? Did Tolliver go in and get that and yank it back from Johnson? I thought Johnson had that, but before he went down, Tolliver came up with it. There's still no ruling on the field.
Well, simultaneous catch goes to the offense. So if they both had their hands on it together, well, either way, I mean, if they don't and it's ripped out and they're not down by contact, then it's Edmonton ball.
The ruling on the field is an interception.
So turnovers are going to take a look. So
What do you think, Glenn?
well, I just want to, let's see it at the beginning of the catch again, because we've got to see if Akeem Johnson has control and this is ripped out as a fumble recovery, or is it an interception?
If it is, it's his first of the season. Let's get another look at it here.
So, well, I think he caught it.
Previous play is under review by the command center.
That last look.
Going to take a look at it.
Here we go again.
Ruling on the field stands.
This look, yeah, he had caught it first. So the ruling is his knee touches before the ball is ripped out by Tolliver. So it's an interception down by contact.
5th interception of the game thrown by a combination of Cornelius and Prukop.
Wow.
Johnson, as I mentioned, his first interception of the year. 33rd overall pick back in 2019, getting a shot here at corner.
Well, I like the fight from Tolliver. He didn't quit on it.
This is a guy that I think you want around if you're Edmonton moving forward.
Absolutely.
Slot guy that's done a lot of good work for you and has kept going down the stretch when maybe others might not have in that situation. Handed off right up the middle, another first down by Butler.
Yeah, this is where for Edmonton it's gonna, fatigue is gonna grab him in the backside, and now you start pounding the rock with the run, and you see defenders catch it. And one of the first things when you get really tired, even within one game played in a normal schedule, you get really tired late in the game, tackling drops off drastically.
68 yards on the ground for Butler. Back to him again, more room again. Lunging ahead, close to another first down.
Went off that right side. They brought in fullback and tight end, but Perkins, that right tackle, number 59. Let's see, he steps out, tries to seal, and does exactly that on Costigan. Kick out block, sealing the inside lane.
Birthday boy. Mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but he turns 27 years old today, and he's fit in nicely on this Lions offensive line this season. Back to Butler again, trying to find a hole. Doesn't look like anything is going to open up for him, but he does take that ball down inside the 20 as they head into the red zone yet again. The Lions averaging just 69 yards per game on the ground. Butler has surpassed that himself tonight. So you mentioned the last couple of games, he's shown pretty well. He's over 80 yards here this evening on 15 touches. You're sure with the way this game's going, there's going to be more coming his way as well.
Yeah, if I'm the BC Lions, I'm bringing in competition in camp next year to compete with James Butler for sure. But he has shown some good things in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
2nd and 6. Rourke. Grabs, does fall incomplete this time. Looked like Rourke might take off. Decided to throw it at the last second, and it does fall incomplete.
Yeah, I like that he's been managing the pocket, and when he does look to move up or step up in the pocket, he's got his eyes up and is looking down the field. I mean, that was Scarfone, and Scarfone needed to catch that. But there's Perkins again, keeping Costigan out and around the outside so he can't get to his quarterback.
Costigan, one of the bright spots on that Edmonton defense this season. Couple of sacks last week. He's got 6 on the year. Vogel out for 3 more. This one from 24 yards straight away, and he puts it home as the BC Lions tack on 3 more. I don't know if you want to hear that story, but the last time I curled, I got concussed, Glenn, so I haven't been back. It's a long story, but I slipped, and big guy falls hard, so I have not come back, but I really enjoy watching it.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'll tell you more about the rest of that story later. There's a push ahead here by Prukop, and it's a short gain.
Now, if you're trying to say, okay, what do the BC Lions do in the offseason? What's one of the things that they're going to try and improve upon? And that's got to be the focus on their D-line. I mean, they've got some young guys there with promise. I mean, you look at Josh Banks and Boomguachum, who they've been very high on throughout the season. I think there's promise there, but you could be active in free agency. I think both these teams on D-line could use some help.
Prukop looks down the field, decides to take what was there for him in the form of Fletcher, who works it up towards the Edmonton 40. TJ Lee right in his face.
But, you know, I like their back end. I mean, Gary Peters and TJ Lee still have a lot of football left in them at 29 and 30 years old. They've got a young coordinator in Ryan Phillips, who knows the game so well. That's how he played. He's a cerebral player and knew everybody's assignment. But he's a first-time play caller. And, you know, he's going to grow and be better next year.
Third down here for Prukop. He's going to take it and run. He's pushing towards the 45. Should be enough for the first down. Took a hit at the end of the drive there, as Edmonton will maintain the ball when we come back inside 3 minutes here in BC. The Elks and Lions one last time for both of these teams this season. A Friday night football, doubleheaders in the mix. About to come to a close with the playoffs looming, Glenn. 2 more regular season games tomorrow, and then that's it. They do it for real next weekend. I'm excited for that. Here's Prukop. Steps up, has some time, looks down the field. That one almost picked off again. That would have been a 6-pack that time. Jamie Harry in on it.
Nice close from Jamie Harry. They've got 5 tonight. That secondary, that gives the BC Lions 17 interceptions on the season. That's a 14-game schedule. In 2019, they had 17 in an 18-game schedule. So, you know, they've got some great pieces in the back end. Their linebackers we've talked about tonight. A little work on the D-line and real good D.
Coming tonight, dead last in the league in sacks with just 21, exactly. Right? So,
exactly.
Prukop again, 2nd and 10. Has a completion into the hands of Armani Edwards, who made a highlight reel catch earlier in the game. And this one, he's able to get done for a first down. Oh, look at this.
Look at the chair. See the chair? He didn't get him out of his chair.
Down in the chair the whole time.
Yeah, he was in the chair. He was comfortable. The DB in Harry sitting in that recliner. He didn't turn. He didn't come out of his back pedal. He didn't get out of the chair. You know, chips on one side, hot dog on the other.
The remote somewhere within reach. Prukop, he's in trouble this time, dumps it off. There's a flag as he is hit. Got hammered. Tim Bonner was there to finish him off.
That's where Dakota Prukop does some inventory checking. That's what you do there. You get that hit, you check
Holding.
inventory.
Edmonton number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Dre Wesley, the guilty party.
Yeah, you get hit like that, and what you do is you go elbow, okay, yeah, that's okay. Arm, yeah, shoulder, okay, that's good.
Check your knees on that one.
Yeah.
Went down hard on the knees. Offensive line. Elizondo has talked about it all season. They've had a lot of different combinations on the offensive line. Prukop's in trouble again, and he stays on his feet. Are you kidding me? Finally, he gets taken down. I thought he was going down a few seconds earlier. Eventually, he is finished off by Thurman, who's been in the backfield quite a few times tonight.
Boomguachum. Almost got him. Just tracks this. Gets that, swats the hands down of Steven Nielsen and gets around the edge and just one arm.
2nd and 32 for Prukop. And he'll get it to Ernest Edwards, who has said, I want to get a measurement on the wingspan of Boom Guacham. 6'5", 250. Few stops along the way before he kind of burst on the scene here as a 30-year-old.
Well,
but he just looks like an athletic freak.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy at Oregon State. In the Pac-12 championships for track and field was finished 6th in the high jump. In the high jump. He's a D lineman.
Third and 21 for Prukop. Underneath to Edwards. Edwards, midfield, no further. He'll be stopped there, and that'll be a turnover on downs. One last turnover for the Elks this season. They're 6th tonight.
The Elks, we've talked about the Lions. I know we're winding down to the end for these two teams in their season. They've got a little bit more work to do. I mean, the O-line, we talked about a couple of great pieces like Walter Fletcher and Jalen Tolliver in the young player category. I think Matt O'Donnell has some football, a lot of good football left in him. They went through such a turnover in their O-line.
Yeah.
That really was a big part of it.
Anyone we talk to in Winnipeg, outside of Winnipeg, they say, well, the Bombers are really good because they're so good on the defensive line, and they returned their entire offensive line from a Grey Cup championship. And other coaches admit this as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it has to start, right?
Well, it is. The trenches is where it starts and often ends. Costigan, though, on defense, Serezna on defense, good players.
They've been nice additions.
Boateng had an off year, and injury's part of that, but Boateng had an off year. He's going to be better, but they need help there. They need some help. So their D-line, yes. Their O-line, yes. Got a couple good running backs. See what James Wilder looks like for next year, where he's going to be, or if he's back in Edmonton.
Here goes Butler. That puts him over 100 yards on the night as he takes it for a first down and inside the Edmonton 30. So a big night to wrap up the season for James Butler.
Yeah, this score doesn't really reflect this team either. I mean, it's an unfair situation, but one that was created because of their COVID issue in their locker room and the condensed schedule. Again, the Players Association signed off on it. It will never happen again like that, where you play 3 games in 7 days. It just won't in a normal season.
Butler trying to push ahead. They creep towards 500 yards of offense. The 495 that they had before that play is their season high. So talk about going out on a high note. This offense with Rourke in at quarterback having their best offensive output of the season. Now, Rourke did throw a couple of interceptions tonight, but I think overall we were pretty impressed with him.
I thought he was great. He was the show tonight. I think Rick Campbell told us in Zoom call 1, he said Nathan Rourke's a keeper. Nathan Rourke is going to have a long career in the CFL.
As a Canadian, how exciting.
Canadian quarterback, Oakville, and the island.
Canadian quarterback in victory formation at home with his family in attendance at BC Place as the Lions on top by 33 points. Imagine coming here as parents and seeing your son do what he did tonight. That's incredible.
Yeah, a little celebration tonight, I'm sure. Absolutely. I bet the game ball goes right to number 12 and probably handed off right to mom right after that.
I think that's probably how it has to work. That is going to do it for both the Elks and the Lions this season. A couple of disappointing campaigns, but one of them ends in a victory tonight for the BC Lions. Have to be happy if you are a BC Lions fan. Look at the future tonight in Nathan Rourke, and he shone brightly. 359 yards and a touchdown. Ran in for 3 touchdowns as well. The defense coming up big, 5 interceptions. BC Lions convincing victory to wrap up their season. The Edmonton Elks finally put out of their misery after one of the worst seasons in franchise history. Let's send it to SportsCenter.